Hi Gary. I've been watching your videos on virtual reality, and it's got me thinking a lot. Um, Several years back, um, I started dreaming a lot, and there's been a few times when I've had lucid dreams where I realized I was in the dream and I was able to control it. And I started thinking, wouldn't it be great if I was able to uh, decide what my dreams were all the time. And so that's kind of a lot along the lines of your virtual reality world, except for your hope is to accomplish that not through biological means, but through computers, etc. And so the idea is interesting, but I think a lot of us, people that are programmers and engineers, will probably fault it for one reason. Um, Being a programmer, we know the inherent difficulties of making programs work correctly, and we accept the fact that there will probably always be bugs in our programs. Um, Most likely you'll get 95% of the bugs, but sometimes you'll run into a bug that is a really big bug, and you don't hit it very often, but when you do, it takes down the whole system. And I think this is one of the big uh, it's a potentially large flaw in a virtual reality world where everybody's inside the world, is that, well, take this scenario. Say everybody in the entire world is plugged into this virtual reality world, and everything's going great. Everyone's fulfilling their fantasies and all that. There's really no pain that's not inflicted by the person. They haven't chosen the pain, and so everyone's basically able to indulge themselves however they want. They can eat as much chocolate, fudge, whatever, and there's no consequences for overindulging or any of that. And but then along comes a bug, and bug ends up destroying most of the virtual world. In fact, it disables the robots. It fries a bunch of circuitry, and say this is now several years into the virtual reality world, and even the engineers that designed the virtual reality world were in the world, and so they've lost a lot of the know-how even to the world. Assuming, I guess it's possible that you could have some kind of mechanism to keep the people's bodies in shape. That would be extra work, but you could have that ability to keep people maybe fit by some kind of muscle shock therapy or something while they're in the virtual world. But their minds won't be accustomed to this new painful world, and so even if the engineers that develop the world are able to fix the problem, it may take several years, and in which time everyone that's just woken up will be back to the shitty world, except for they won't have the same mental facilities to know how to cope in that world. And so things won't just be back to regular. There'll be a lot of pain and suffering, and it probably would take several cycles of this before the majority of bugs were weeded out. But then there's always the possibility that they could be in for 10 or 50 years, and a bug comes up, destroys the virtual world for several hundred years. So I don't see it as a panacea. I think there's not only the potential for bugs, but there's also, as Tommy from the Bronx pointed out, the potential for a natural disaster doing something. And it is possible a natural disaster could cause a crucial part of the virtual world get damaged in the same way as a bug and take down the entire system, and everybody would wake up and things would be shit again. So it seems like a nice thought, a nice mental exercise, but I don't know that it's practical. Certainly not in our lifetime. I mean, even if we did a Manhattan type project, I can't see a virtual world maybe 50 to 100 years. Maybe we do that in that amount of time. But it's more than likely we'll blow ourselves up with nukes before that time comes. So anyhow, yeah.